Inkigayo needs to come out and thoroughly explain this. If you want to vent this out or make alleged suspicions, make it on YG and do not hate the group Blackpink, okay? Welcome to YouTube's favorite K-pop show, DK News.
My name is Danny Kim.
David Kim.
And we have lots and lots of hot ass tea, chaos, and horror and terror today for you.
First off, the government is making rules for tents in public parks because of kids
doing some sneaky ass shit in there.
Who knows?
And second, we have actress Yoon Ji Oh, who testified for the Jian case earlier this year, coming out as allegedly a fraud and fabricating information about the Jian case. Who knows? And last but not least,
SBS Inkigayo exposed by dispatch of excluding BTS in their rankings.
Oh no.
First news. So as we said, the Korean government is making rules on tents, like the actual tents. And it's about kids and teens.
What are they doing in those tents?
Well, before we go into that, let's see what's happening, what the government is actually making rules for. The policy changes like this. Tents will only be allowed from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's a specific time where you can set up the tents. 13 designated tent zones. So you can only set up a tent in those selective zones. So you might be wondering, why is this even on DK News?
I think a lot of people who are coming to Korea and watching DK News, you should be aware of this too, because if you set up a tent somewhere else, you'll be fined. So be careful of that.
These days, like spring weather, you go to Han River, put up a tent, and you stay, let's say, after 7 p.m. You read a book or something. You might have to pay $880 for that. Tents must be smaller than 2 meters and 2 meters wide. So there's a regulation on size. It's a very small size tent now. And this is the most controversial rule here. At least 2 sides of the tent have to be remained open. So how many sides does a tent have?
2 sides,
right?
Usually.
So,
there's 4 sides, but there's only 2 doors. Usually.
Yeah, so both sides have to be open, or it has to be transparent to see whatever is going inside. You might already have the grasp on the reasoning behind this. Before we go on into other speculation, let's hear the Seoul Metropolitan Government's actual reasoning behind this. And it says, damage to the nature of the river parks. Yeah, that explains the zoning and stuff, because if you go otherwhere, throw out trash and stuff. This is where it gets controversial. Public concerns over inappropriate behavior in closed tents in public spaces.
Let's do the debate.
About what?
Have you ever had any sex?
You had one in a tent?
If these people are having sex in a tent in a park, why would that be the concern?
That's the debate topic of today.
Okay.
Should the government actually restrict the usage of tents in public parks? Yes or no? 둘, 셋. No. Oh, we finally have a consensus.
I thought you would say yes, because you're like the sheep. No. You like everything that the government says to you.
I've looked into a few comments on Naver regarding this issue, and actually a lot of people were pro this policy, because a lot of people were frowning upon kids and teens having sexual behavior, or PDA, happening in Han River. So they said, why don't you get a motel or a space for yourself? Why go to the Han River where everybody's around and have sexual behavior in the parks?
Okay, here's my UN speech coming up. First of all, we have an issue of fertility rates going super down in Korea. People are not having sex. And when they do have sex, they're not having babies.
Korea has the lowest birth rate in the entire world. And then you have, on the opposite end, all these government officials not wanting kids to have sex. And on top of that, sex education is really, really shallow in Korea. When we were going to school, what did you learn about in sex ed class? Nothing. We didn't have one. Really? You didn't have one? This is the shit that they actually told me. We were in a co-ed class, and they told the girls, a lot of the guys were there, men are potential rapists, don't go in an elevator with a man. If there's a man that's waiting for the elevator with you, then make the man go first, and then just take the stairs or something.
I don't know about that.
Stuff
Where
like that.
Did you get that? I don't know about that.
Kids, they don't have any place to have sex, and they're gonna have sex anyways. If they're gonna have sex, might as well make it a romantic night in the park.
So the government is saying kids don't have sex, kids don't have sex. And if you're underage, there's a lot of restrictions into like what kind of places you can't go to a hotel or anything. And then you're underage, you're not gonna live, alone. You're living in your parents' house. So where are the kids gonna have sex? So if you want to ban all of these places that kids are having sex in, are you even like considering the fact that like these kids might, go to the restroom to have sex or like some other dirty place to have sex?
Kids need a safe place to have sex. That sounds so wrong.
I don't know. The logic kind of
Neverland.
The logic kind of feels weird to me about this particular issue, but I think we should kind of focus on the perspective of freedom. If you close all doors and you decide to camp out,
that's your freedom.
Yeah, that's your freedom. And why do you have to open the doors if you don't want to?
I know.
I mean, that's kind of weird, and I feel like this is happening to every corner of Korean society.
I know.
Exactly on the internet as well, like banning porn sites. And now, making people opening doors in the...
It's ridiculous.
In the public parks, it's a public space, and people can get uncomfortable seeing other people making out in tents. I understand that. Like, some people want to go there for family picnics, and imagine having a shady couple having sex over
shady.
there. You don't want to you don't want to show your 5-year-old kid that.
No.
But at
show
the same...
my 5-year-old kid that. It'll be like...
No, that's just you. That's just you. I understand the family-oriented culture and stuff. Going to a level and making a detailed law on how you have to open 2 doors of your tent, that is like petty as...
No, that's big brother shit.
Yeah,
man.
that's not what a government does.
Shit.
You should just make guidelines or, suggestions on do not,
please
engage
try not to have sex.
Yeah, exactly. No, not in that way. Just please try to respect other people around you. Do not do too excessive, sexual behavior.
Okay.
In the freedom aspect and what the role of the government, it's not becoming a minimized government. It's becoming like a big brother thing right now.
You can't even have sex anymore. It's crazy.
No, not about the sex.
No porn,
not
no
about,
sex.
Not about the sex,
no
but
babies.
to the extent of and the detail and specificness of making regulations on this, I don't really think it's a good idea.
Next news. On April 23rd, actress Yoon Ji Oh was filed a lawsuit for defamation and fabrication of information regarding the actress Chang Jae-yeon and her suicide. A feminist writer named Kim Soo-min, she wrote a book in 2017 that involved her experiences as a feminist, I think. She actually was the one who filed the lawsuit against Yoon Ji Oh, the actress, and she was allegedly helping Yoon Ji Oh write her recent book called 13th Testimony, which talks about the Chang Jae-yeon case. Now, not everybody may know all about the Chang Jae-yeon case, so I'll explain a little bit. If you want an in-depth explanation, check out this video here. We made a big video there. Chang Jae-yeon is an actress who had committed suicide after sexually and physically being assaulted by more than 30 plus media executives. And this happened about 10 years ago. The case was quickly closed without proper investigation until it was reopened recently due to a lot of requests. Yoon Ji Oh, the actress, had been claiming to be the only witness of the Chang Jae-yeon list, which is these documents that Chang Jae-yeon produced before her death, listing all these, media executives and politicians who had partaken in the sexual assault of Chang Jae-yeon herself. So Yoon Ji Oh, who had been testifying for the Chang Jae-yeon case, was kind of out of the radar. She was living in Canada, away from all this mess, until she came back earlier to Korea in March 2019, and she started doing a lot of TV interviews. She went on to JTBC, on Kim Ha-jun's show.
She's getting all the spotlight of the nation right now.
Yes, she's been this hero that's come out and really reignited the Chang Jae-yeon case investigations again, and now Chang Jae-yeon can have her justice served. Until this writer, Kim Soo-min, she comes out and says, you know what? She's actually just trying to profit off of Chang Jae-yeon's death, and actually a lot of the things that Yoon says are lies. And I know a lot of mainstream media as well as other YouTube channels have covered this case, including us. And actually some of these people overseas are seeing those videos and funding her GoFundMe page right now. And I see there's more than $20,000 she's raised already.
Because of the reason that we have to protect her as a witness. Because a lot of powerful influences have allegedly tried, according to her, to like threaten her or, you know, abduct her or whatever.
Or kill her.
Yeah, so like she needs protection, witness protection, and she's not getting that from any public organization. So people are making fundraisers and publicity for her
security and safety. That's all good. So you know, I have nothing against fundraisers, but I think if you are considering fundraising, you should be aware of this case. So that's why I have brought this to you. So there's a lot of claims that the writer Kim Soo-min is making about the actress Yoon.
These are all alleged claims, by the way.
Yes. First, she says that Yoon has lied about the mysterious car accidents.
Okay.
So in multiple interviews, Yoon has talked about these mysterious car accidents that happened in January. She felt her life was threatened, like there were some other external forces that were trying to intentionally crash her car. However, according to Kim Soo-min, the writer, she had conversations with actress Yoon right after the accidents actually occurred. The conversation revealed that the car accident, it was nothing really serious. And on top of that, the person that caused the accident, the driver that hit Yoon's car from behind, turned out to be a father, just an ordinary father that was trying to pick up his kid from school or something. Okay. Throughout the text, she revealed that Yoon actually tried to help the father go pick up the kid from the school after the car accident. So like things were all resolved very well. And then a few months later, Yoon came out on a TV show saying her life felt threatened because of that car accident. So Yoon has been requesting private security, and actually she has 24/7 police security right now, but she has been also trying to get her own private security, which would cost about $800 per day. The main backing supporting argument was that she felt threatened due to these accidents, and that's why she needs that. Kim is saying that these are over-exaggerated. And second, Yoon actually does not know Chang Jae-yeon as much as she claims to know her, allegedly. So in a private conversation between writer Kim and actress Yoon, Kim said that Yoon told her that she actually only met or came across Chang Jae-yeon a few times when they were in the same company. She only knew of Chang Jae-yeon's death after, you know, she died and she saw it on the news or something. She actually personally told writer Kim, like they were actually really close people, friends. She told her like, okay, well, I'm actually really not that close to Chang Jae-yeon as the media makes me out to be. So third, Yoon's memoir about this entire Chang Jae-yeon case and her living through it, it was published without the consent of the remaining family of Chang Jae-yeon.
Oh no.
She just went on to publish it anyway. Fourth, this is a big one. Kim claims that Yoon told her that Yoon has never seen the Chang Jae-yeon list in person. So this is, I think, the biggest claim because this list was key evidence. Yoon Ji Oh came out saying she was the only one who actually saw it, the sole witness of that list before it got destroyed. However, Kim Soo-min was told by Yoon in a private conversation allegedly that the list that actress Yoon saw was not the Chang Jae-yeon list itself, but a list of names that the police had written. So while she was testifying for the Chang Jae-yeon case, the police left the room and she just looked at the files and she saw some names, and apparently that's why she called the Chang Jae-yeon list. These are all like not our claims, but the writer Kim Soo-min's claims. And actually, she also revealed a few text messages that were kind of disturbing. Among them were this message. And Yoon Ji Oh says, I'm just publishing the book for the sake of publishing it. I don't really care how much it sells. The writer says, okay, like if the sales are not important, then you don't have to stress it out too much. And then Yoon Ji Oh says, regardless, this will be a big issue. So I will use that issue wisely to do things that I have never done before. And that's why I am publishing this book. Like you can interpret this in many different ways, but like just from this kind of context, it kind of makes her look bad.
Who is suing who?
The writer is suing Yoon Ji Oh for defamation and fabric. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So a person can do that for a dead person too.
Yes.
even if
That's
the person
that's
is
a
not
thing in Korean law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
even if you're dead, you can still have your name reputation devalued.
I'm just curious. Let's just assume that the writer wins
Yeah.
this case. There must be like a punishment or a fine or whatever. Who does that go to?
I would say probably the family, the remaining family. The funny thing is, like, a lot of people are claiming the writer has been bought out by these big media people or something. But the thing is, they're essentially on the same side when it comes to the Chang Jae-yeon case.
Yeah.
Like, they both want the people responsible to be punished.
If she does not gain any personal benefit,
No.
I think the writer might have allegedly valid points. To give you my short opinion about bodyguards spending $800 and the car crashing stuff, I think we don't have to speak a lot about that because I think even if the car crash is true or not, she's told that in front of national TV, right? And result-wise, that made a huge impact. It fired up the case investigation. So she could have used it for dramatic effect, or she could have felt that way subjectively. So I don't think there's a
Yeah,
thing
that is true.
that we could say about that. And for the bodyguards, even if she does get the fundraising and use it for bodyguards, she claimed that publicly, so she would have to like transparently open that she's using the actual money on bodyguards with the exact amount of payment. So I think that's not a part to be worried about too. The part that she didn't get consent from the family of Chang Jae-yeon is pretty sketchy. As a human being, if you're talking about the dead, like you would have to consult with the family who is left, who has a lot of pain too. So if she didn't go through that process, it might leave her a spot for a certain criticism. The fourth one is a big problem, I think. If this is true, because Yoon Ji Oh got the spotlight in the first place because of the sole fact that she witnessed the list. But if that is really true and she did not see the list, and
Then that'll be the biggest fraud in Korea.
she might be using this whole thing without having any clue inside her head, right?
I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions here because this lawsuit was just filed yesterday, April 23rd. I have a hard time believing both sides. I think, Yoon Ji Oh, she probably wants good for Chang Jae-yeon case, or at least good for the entertainment industry as a whole. Because the things that happened in the Chang Jae-yeon case, sex abuse and, raping and shit like that, those are all things that are very prevalent in the media industry. And like, there's no hiding that, right? So I really think she does want those things to be better. She's been testifying for many times. I don't think she can fabricate every single time and fool the police if she's that smart. Right now, or at least until this was revealed, the public opinion on Yoon Ji Oh was like she was the hero. There were actually a few media outlets that tried to, question Yoon Ji Oh's legitimacy.
Yeah.
But they were all severely and heavily attacked by public opinion.
Yeah, right.
So people had already set a conclusion and they just wanted, somebody to lead the way. And Yoon Ji Oh was that person that just came out and said, okay, I'll just lead the way. You guys all follow me and we can get justice. And now, like with this, the public opinion has taken a 180.
Since this is getting way bigger and bigger, and like people like the writer right next to her who was friends feel like she's trying to profit out of this. Like there's this weird feeling, and the public took that too. And they're saying like, oh, maybe she might be profiting, like she might be like exaggerating a little bit to gain her own personal profit because nothing can be proved.
I know. So it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make a judgment on it.
Yeah, let's not make a judgment
until the verdict. But just be aware. You need to know this. I made a tweet yesterday regarding this and like how be aware before you support the fundraiser. But everybody was like, they were so set on the conclusion that this is justice and she's fighting for justice. Well, there's a lot of sides to the story, like that you don't really get to hear about. I tried to search this up on English websites. They weren't there.
You should have your own
judgment
or opinion before you donate or fully support her. If there is a chance that this person is personally gaining or profiting out of that, if that is the case, that's fucked up. You hear this whole story and you judge. You judge whether you want to help her.
You be the judge, people. Be proactive.
Last news. So SBS Inkigayo is exposed by Dispatch because of excluding the one and only BTS from their rankings. But before we go on into this news, we have another BTS related news. Not from us, but from our friend called BTS Being BTS.
What? Woo! They're super famous. BTS being BTS.
Yes. The owner of the channel likes DKDKTV and supports DK News. The owner will become a special reporter for the BTS related news of this week. So let's connect to the US, to our special reporter of today, and hear out what's going on with BTS.
Alright guys, so I got some BTS news.
Oh shit, here we go again.
According to Billboard charts, BTS have 3 #1 albums on the Billboard 200. So the first one was Love Yourself Tear that charted in June. Second one was Love Yourself Answer in September. And the third one now is this month, Persona. Also with this achievement, BTS have broken another record. They are the only artists to have 3 consecutive #1 albums on the Billboard 200 and the US Independent Albums chart. This was basically a good day to do this video because the Fact Music Awards were today and BTS won some awards. They won Artist of the Year. U+ Idol Life Popularity, Best Album, which was Answer, and they sung At the End of the Night.
Okay, thank you to BTS being BTS and go support his channel. Okay, so back to the SBS Inkigayo news. Dispatch dropped an article about exposing SBS Inkigayo of not including BTS on the ranking charts. This triggered and stirred up a lot of armies. The reason is because last week BTS came back, right? And they're breaking records currently. They got #1 on the 19th for KBS Music Bank. They got #1 on MBC Music Core on the 20th, and the 21st was supposed to be Inkigayo from SBS, and they were not on the charts
At all?
at all. Dispatch had the honor to actually dig deeper into this issue, and they actually called SBS to find out what was going on. There's a lot of details, but I'll simplify it for you as much as possible. Dispatch provided a comparison. The first thing you have to know is that Blackpink released their album, and after 9 days, they were 4th on Inkigayo's ranking charts. And second, BTS released their album, and after 9 days, they were not seen on the chart. The same amount of time, 9 days, Blackpink was on the chart and BTS was not.
I mean, they're both 9 days. That is correct. But Blackpink, they released at midnight, so 0 a.m. BTS, they released at 6 p.m. So maybe that's the difference?
Dispatch apparently was watching that issue as well. They wanted to prove that that is not the issue, and they came up with a third comparison. So Taeyeon released her song recently, and only after 7 days, she was on 23rd on the Inkigayo charts. So, like 2 days even before like the 9-day standard, Taeyeon was on the charts.
That's weird.
SBS, of course, responded to Dispatch's questions, and they made a lot of sentences, but I'll just simplify it for you in one sentence. It's complicated. We cannot reveal the exact details behind our specific ranking system.
If Google says that we can't expose our recommendation algorithm or view algorithm, I'll be understanding.
Yeah.
This is like a ranking system.
They said things like this: the sole factor is not the release time or date. We have like other factors we consider. So we decided that BTS was not appropriate to be put on this week's chart. We decided them to be on next week's chart, and they kind of like slipped away. Like they said it's complicated. We cannot disclose the details. So Dispatch actually attached the official scoring system that Inkigayo uses. 55% domestic online streaming platform points, 10% of physical record sales from Gaon chart, 30% YouTube views, 5% Melon pre-voting, 10% on-air like TV radio activities. So it's pretty transparent, but Dispatch also questioned like if you follow these rules and if time and date is not the issue, if you match up all the scores, then BTS should be on top.
Yeah, very, very high.
So anyways, a lot of people are saying, I'm not trying to start a fan war here, guys. It's not about Blackpink nor BTS. We stand both. We support both groups. But I will deliver the alleged claims or the heat, the steam that's going on. Blackpink is killing right now, but unfortunately, they haven't got a #1 win on any of the domestic shows yet. Until this one. So this is their one and only #1 win on the Korean domestic shows. So people are allegedly claiming that YG put pressure into SBS that they should give a #1 win for Blackpink before they finish their, activities.
I'm gonna just say this is some kind of human error. I can't imagine that YG in their state would be able to put pressure on SBS. You know, SBS is the one that's like revealing all this shit that YG is doing, right? You got BTS, you got YG, who's really struggling right now. You got Big Hit. Which one do you select, right? Like, which one do you select? Like, from a logical standpoint, I would select Big Hit any other day. And I just don't understand why SBS, if they did allegedly choose to do that, would be picking YG over Big Hit. Because if they choose YG, then Big Hit is gonna be pissed off for sure.
That's very valid too.
Yeah.
But the flaw here is that you're thinking in the company's point of view, right?
Yeah.
But if you go into the individuals, there's like a person in charge, right, of Inkigayo.
Yeah.
There might be a main producer or whatever.
Yeah.
Think of conspiracy theories. That individual might have ties with YG. I'm just like making this in fairyland and imagination. Man.
By the way, I don't support this.
Yeah,
sue him.
Yeah, this is all imaginary.
Sue David.
This is all imaginary. I'm just suggesting a scenario.
Okay.
Inkigayo might have ties with YG because like SBS is known to have support YG like blatantly in the past, and the individual might have some like benefits from the company, and then BTS is like getting all the awards in the world so right now,
Like,
so
they don't really care.
yeah, they don't really care. Since BTS is getting all these awards and Blackpink deserved one, but since BTS is so huge they cannot compete, maybe the SBS TV show wanted to give them.
No. Human error. Either human error.
It's not a human error excluding BTS right now
Okay, yeah, that doesn't
from
really
the charts.
If you're a producer, think about it. If you're a producer, you have Blackpink.
I don't know if you have individual motives. Yeah.
No.
I think it's possible.
You're putting your job on the fucking line because of your individual motives? No.
No, people know how the media industry works, and people will know that this will blow off after a week. So
I don't agree with this. Just sue David.
it's just my opinion, and this is
all
all
David's-
imaginary.
this is all
I'll
David's.
even put a fairyland background here. This is off topic, but guys, think of the K-pop industry as a whole, and I've heard some people related in this industry that they say like Big Hit might be a one-off thing. All their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And after prime time of BTS, what do they have left? And then still it's gonna be the big three. They've had relationships for years.
Yeah.
So producers and the media companies, they might choose Big Three over Big Hit. After BTS goes to the military, what are they gonna do? Like, they might be looking on for the long term. This might be all relationships. It is very weird if you like look at just the facts here. There's no reason to explain BTS was not included on that chart. And just to be clear, guys, no hate on Blackpink. I'm a Blackpink stan, guys. I stan Jisoo, and they deserve that award.
Oh, should we check the stocks?
And the person who should be blamed, if this is a problem at all, is YG, not Blackpink, the girls themselves.
Don't even say YG should be blamed because like
No, if this is a thing.
this is not a thing though.
Just my
it's
personal
not
opinion.
a thing.
No,
It's-
you choose. You
Okay,
choose, but
okay.
I think this is very weird. It doesn't add up. The math is not right. And something is going around behind the curtains. And the only explanation and the leads all lead to kind of YG. So I'm not saying there is something, but I smell something. Yeah, that's all I can say. At the same time, I support Blackpink. They're wonderful. They're killing in Coachella. They're taking pictures with all these celebrities, like even Ariana Grande and stuff. So they're just doing so good. Closing statement is, do not hate on Blackpink. They have nothing to do with this. The girls themselves, the group themselves. Like, think of it. Like, did Blackpink, like Lisa, go to the producer and say, "Can you give us one?" No. Even if this is a thing, you should not hate the group Blackpink. That is not a logical transition. If you want to vent this out or make alleged suspicions, make it on YG and do not hate the group Blackpink, okay? And second, I think Inkigayo needs to come out and thoroughly explain this because there has been way too many claims, and they have to be transparent on the process of how they excluded BTS, not just trying to slip away by saying, "Oh, it's complicated. We have details we cannot disclose."
Okay. Well, it was shady not showing the details, saying it's complicated. I agree with you that, but I have to heavily disagree because SBS, it is one of the most profitable media corporations inside South Korea, they would not be the ones to take YG's puny little money. Tell us what you think. Already, I can hear you guys unsubscribing. It's okay, we've been used to it. Last news, actually this is not really news, but my friend has released a boy group. He's not in the boy group, he's the CEO of a boy group. They're called ENOI and they have a special message for us. So there you go. Roll the clip.
둘, 셋. What's up, dogs? We are ENY. 우리 어두웠던 시간 지나 반드시 피어날 거야 지금. 와. 이거 너무 멋있다. 랩이 너무 부끄러운데. 네, 저희 ENO의 첫 번째 데뷔곡 블룸이 19일 날 모든 음원 사이트에 발매되었습니다. 정말 오랜 시간 공들이고 오랜 시간 멤버들과 함께 고민하면서 만든 노래이니만큼 많은 분들에게 들려드리고 많은 분들에게 좋은 노래라는 평가를 받았으면 좋겠습니다. 많은 관심 부탁드리고 많은 사랑 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
So go check out their latest MV. I actually was surprised at how great it is in terms of quality and production levels. So go check it out. And also if you want more stuff, please subscribe to DKDKTV. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DKDKTV. We have exclusive podcasts and reactions, and go on to our Instagram, to Instagram, just David and DKDKTV, and we will see you guys next time.